Hello everyone, this is Piyush. So today we are going to discuss about semiconductor devices. This is the 16th chapter of your physics, and all of you have already studied about semiconductor devices in the 11th standard. So just to brush up the things, as you guys might have forgotten some things about this chapter because it was a very small chapter, and I'm not sure how many of you have studied thoroughly this chapter completely from start to end. So I'll just start with the P-type and N-type devices. So basically in P-type devices we have majority carriers as holes. They are denoted with positive sign in this picture, and minority carriers as electrons. Okay. What are holes? Basically, holes are nothing but the absence of electron in a material. You take any material, silicon, germanium, arsenic, anything. So wherever there is electron, it will occupy some space. And when there is the electron is not present, there will be a space or gap, we can say. So that gap we call it as holes. So conclusion, holes are nothing but the absence of electron, and just to for studying purpose we are denoting them with a positive sign. So in P-type semiconductor devices, the majority carriers are holes and minority carriers are electrons, and in N-type the vice versa. In N-type the majority carriers are electrons and minority carriers are holes. Okay, so let's go ahead. We have also studied about this p-n junction thing, right? If you remember, we have taken a p-type semiconductor and an n-type semiconductor, we have joined them together and it has formed p-n junction. So by a word junction, you already know that there will be a junction formed in between them. So we'll study about this again. So as you know that p-type semiconductors are having trivalent impurity and n-type semiconductors are having pentavalent. Okay, so basically in p-type semiconductor there will be a vacancy of 3 electrons in the outermost orbit, and in n-type 5, right? So when we join p-type semiconductor with n-type, there will be some transfer of electrons and holes takes place between them. Okay, some hole, as we have seen that p-type is having majority carriers as holes, so some holes will transfer themselves from p to n, and some electrons will try to come from n to p region, right? So when this process continues, what happens is there is a depletion region formed at the junction. Fine, as I have told already that but we'll repeat it again. What happens is when p-type holes are trying to pass the junction and they are trying to go towards n-type electrons, right? Holes, the positive will go towards negative, and the same n-type is having majority carriers as electrons, and it will try to these electrons will try to go to p-type holes. So when this process is happening, some electrons and holes they are immovable. Like when they stuck in the depletion region, they are immovable, and this forms a depletion region between the p and n type, and there we get some potential barrier. Now what is this potential barrier? It is like for silicon it is 0.7 volt, and for germanium it is 0.3 volt. So if holes want to go from p type to n type, what they have to do, they should at least pass, like they should at least have 0.7 volt to cross this junction or cross this depletion region. Then only the holes can move from p to n, and the same goes for electron. If they want to pass from n region to p region, they should cross this depletion region with the required voltage, and obviously it depends, like it varies as per the material. For silicon it is different, and for germanium it is different. Okay, now then again we have studied about forward biased and reverse biased. as I hope like drawn some diagram, like there will be the diode when it is in forward bias, it acts as a switch, like we switch on and switch off the things. So in forward bias diode conducts, and in reverse bias it doesn't conduct. Okay, that for example, if we have studied one example, diode as switch in 11th standard. So when the diode is in forward bias, it is conducting, and when it is in reverse bias, it is not conducting. Simple as that. It is acting as a switch. So here we will just see what happens inside when diode is in forward bias. So here when the diode is in forward bias, it is a p-n junction diode. We can see P having majority carriers as holes, N having majority carriers as electrons. So when an external voltage or external battery is connected to p-n junction diode in such a way that positive end of that battery is connected to P type or P side, and negative end of that battery is connected to N side, right? So positive, positive, negative, negative, right? So what happens is when we switch on this, when this power supply is started and battery started sending the charges, this positive charges will go to P side. Already there are a lot of holes, majority carriers. So this positive charges, what happens, they both will combine and they will try to push the depletion region. Basically they will try to go towards N region, and the same is happening from this negative side. This negatively charged negative side of battery, it is connected to N type. N type is having negative charges. So what happens, they both will combine and this both will try to go towards holes of P type. So in between the depletion region what we have, it gets thinner, right? What happens is when these both are trying to go towards each other, that depletion region, that width of the depletion region is reduced. Okay, it is as minimal as it can be. So in this case, these electrons and holes can easily pass this depletion region from one side to other side, and the current conducts. So in such a way, when diode is in forward bias, it conducts, or it allows the current to pass through the circuit or diode. Fine. And the same thing, what happens when diode is in reverse biased? In the reverse bias condition, the negative side of the external battery is connected to P side or P region, and the positive end of the battery is connected to N type. So in this case, what is happening? This is being negative, this is being positive. This negative will attract these positive things, okay, and this positive, this negative, this is also attract this positive charges towards the battery, negative charges towards the battery. So in this case, the depletion region, the width of the depletion region will be increased. Now, as we have seen above, when the depletion region is thin, so it requires 0. Like when diode is in forward bias, it requires 0.7 volt for silicon to pass the P2N and N2P to conduct the current. Like when this depletion region gets increased, or the region is, now in this case what is happening, the depletion region width is very large, so the 0.7 volt will not be enough to pass this region. Okay, that potential barrier of 0.7 volt cannot pass this region now because it has increased, and it's nothing but we can see by the diagram, it's thrice or 4 times the region what we had in forward bias. So electrons and holes will not be able to pass the depletion region. They will not be having barrier potential whatever is required. So the diode will not conduct the current. It will act as a closed switch. Conclusively, in reverse bias, the p-n junction diode will not conduct. It will act as a closed switch. So it's clear, forward bias, the diode will act as open switch. Whatever the required circuit we want to complete, it will complete it. And if it is in reverse bias, it will not complete the circuit. We will have an open circuit situation. Now, if you remember, or if you've seen this photo anywhere, this is Thomas Edison and this is Nikola Tesla. So you can go and search on the Google like what was the history between them. There was a situation called as current war. You can read more about it. Thomas Edison, he has mastery. He has made some DC, like he has done some advancement in DC current, and Tesla has done advancement in AC current. AC current is nothing but what we have in our house today, 240/50, 241 and 50 hertz. So why I am telling you about these two scientists, because this chapter is closely related to both of them, like what is DC, what is AC, how they are getting converted. So you can go ahead and check about this. We'll move ahead with our syllabus. Now, PN junction diode as a rectifier. So as we have already studied about rectifier in 11th standard, the same will repeat here because it's there in our syllabus for 12th as well. So rectifier is nothing but the conversion of AC voltage into a DC voltage. Conversion of alternative current into direct current or voltage is called rectification. Okay. A rectifier converts this bidirectional voltage or current into a unidirectional voltage or current. Just you have to keep in mind this bidirectional and unidirectional thing. Okay, what happens is, if you have seen alternative current, see this, it has positive as well as negative cycle. Okay, this is nothing but a total block diagram of rectifier. It's a simple block diagram to describe the things. We are going to see each and every step in detail, like what happens at stage A, stage B, stage C and stage D. So that we will look afterwards. Right now just let me give you a brief idea about what is happening at every stage. So this AC voltage applies to some circuit. We are having a transformer as it was there in rectifier. Transformer being primary secondary winding. At a particular time this will be a positive, this will be negative, and the second phase, when the phase is reversed, this will be positive and this will be negative. Okay, then there will be a diode circuit to rectify the things. Then after this circuit completes, like half wave and full wave rectifier completes their work here, there will be a filter circuit. What filter circuit does is, see, after giving AC input we got this DC output. You can see that it is unidirectional. Earlier it was bidirectional, right? But here also we are having some AC components in this output, and this AC component we cannot supply to a particular device, it will damage that device. So to remove those AC components, what we do, we apply filter circuit. So filter circuit, it will again filter this output in this way, but still there will be some fluctuations in that output. Like it is not a plain DC line, you can see DC, the straight line goes. So again this output is given to voltage regulator as input. Then voltage regulator circuit, what it does, it converts that fluctuating output into a plain DC line, and this is the thing we input to our mobile, laptop and other circuits which are using the DC output. So this is just a general idea how the rectification happens. Okay, don't worry, we are going to see about each and every stage in very detail. It will be interesting. So for now we'll look ahead for half wave and full wave rectifier. Right, so this you already know all these things, but just I want to repeat the things so that going ahead it should not be surprised to be like what was that, because it's going to be a key point for you in coming topics. So just understand these things, and also you might have to go back to 11th standard book and revise about PN junction diode thing. So you have to do that, what is diode and all those things, some small definition, or I'll say small concepts that are very imperative here. So let's finish this half wave rectifier. So this is transformer, AC input is given to transformer, will take point A and B. At the first point, when the supply is in positive half cycle, this point A will be positive, B will be negative. Okay, and this is diode, symbol of diode. So right now when it is positive, this is the positive side of diode, this is negative side of diode. Okay, so when point A is positive and it is connected to positive cycle of diode, point B is negative, it is connected to negative side of diode. Diode is in which biased? It is in forward biased. Why? Because as we see in the earlier diagram that the positive side of the battery is connected to the positive and negative is connected to negative. The diode is in forward biased. So in forward bias, what it does, diode will conduct and the current will pass through this diode and it will complete the circuit. And we will get something here at load. We will take some output V out from this load resistance. Okay. So when in the first half, when the diode is in the first half, when the A point is positive, B is negative, the diode will be in forward biased and it will conduct the current and we will get some output. But as soon as the wave enters into negative half cycle, this changes situation. Then now A is negative and B is positive. Okay. So when B is positive, what happens is A is negative, like negative side of external battery is connected to positive side of diode. Okay. So right now, and the negative is connected to positive of external voltage. So right now diode is in reverse bias condition. In reverse bias condition, diode acts as an open circuit. It will not complete the circuit. It will the current will not flow through this diode, and we will not get anything on the output resistance. So as you can see here, when diode is in for the positive half cycle, diode is in forward bias, we are getting some output. For negative, we are getting nothing. Again in the positive half cycle, we are getting output, and here we are getting nothing. So in such a way, half wave rectifier, we get output signals for voltage. So the same thing, when we talk about full wave rectifier, what we are doing here is we are using two diodes. Okay. Now the concept is very simple. Why we are using two diodes is, for the here we can see for the first half, when the AC input is applied, for the positive half cycle, this point A will be positive, B will be negative. Okay. So for this first diode, what is happening? This point A is positive. Diode, the positive side of diode is here. So this positive, positive, and this negative side is connected to B side. Positive, positive, negative, negative. Diode is in D1 diode is in forward bias condition. Okay. And when we come here, from here to here, this is negative side of diode. Now this negative side is connected to positive side. We are talking about positive cycle right now. So this is plus, this is minus right now. So this positive is connected to negative side of D2 and negative of external voltage is connected to positive side of D2. So this diode is in reverse bias. So it will not conduct, it will not act, but diode D1 will conduct and it will complete the circuit A, P, Q, R and C. And we will get output across the load resistance. Okay. For the positive half cycle, diode A will be positive, point A will be positive and B will be negative, and we will get output across load resistance RL. Now for the negative half cycle, what happens is point B becomes positive and A becomes negative. So this is positive. Let's take diode D2 first. This is also positive, 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 and this is negative. This point is also negative. So this diode D2 is in forward bias condition. And when we go to diode D1, this is negative, this is now positive, this is positive, this is negative. So this D1 is in reverse bias condition. Okay, so D2 will not come into the picture, it will not conduct. D2 will conduct. So at this point, B, D2, P, Q, R and C will complete the circuit and we will get output across load resistance RL. So basically, in the full wave rectifier, we will get output for both. For positive cycle, D1 conducts, for negative cycle, D2 conducts. So if we join these two outputs, we will get something like this. We will get our total output for both the cycles, positive and negative as well. Okay, so in this way, the operation is happened across full wave and half wave rectifier. So going ahead, we will be studying more about this block diagram. We will see what is happening in each and every stage. Stage 1, as you all already know about stage 1 and A and B here, because this is nothing but the rectifier thing, positive as well as negative. You can see the output, this output is for full wave rectifier. Half wave rectifier is not used in practical world, but it is used in some lab kind of thing. We are normally using full wave rectifier only because it is most efficient. And about this filter circuit will be something new to you, so this will be interesting topic, how this wave is formed. So from this wave only we will form this wave in the next lecture. And voltage regulator, you might already heard about this thing, but how it operates you might not be having a clear picture. So we'll see about these two things in coming lectures. Okay, so for today you guys just need to revise the things. What is P type and N type? Just open book from 11th standard. What is junction, P-N junction, and how it is formed. Then again, what is potential barrier. Then how forward bias works, how reverse bias works. Then if you want, you can go and Google about these two people. And then PH junction diode as a rectifier, that half wave and full wave. Okay, I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care and try to revise some concepts.